Thank you. Also, congrats. I didn't have time to say that. It feels like now when you're winning everything, it's not so special to say congrats.
It
I
feels
know.
like you're repeating
I know.
yourself all the time, right? That's exactly how I feel a lot of the time.
It's like I now get congrats when I qualify. Viper, you don't last for too long, but that's how it is.
Without Warlords, I'm still invited.
Mm.
I don't see you there.
Well, because he wouldn't qualify, and Mem needs his goat, Fallen One.
All right, hello there, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Majmora, and this is going to be another post-match talk where we like to gather the whole team and discuss recently finished tournaments. And this one will obviously be fully dedicated to the Garrison. Hera, I know you're pretty sick, bro. We're going to try to power through this, and we're actually not quite sure what happened to TaToH, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. I think, isn't he on vacation in Spain
Oh
with
yeah,
Nilly?
yeah, he's traveling. That's true.
Yeah, with
Oh, yeah,
Neely
with,
and
like,
Dave.
Dave,
Yeah.
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 He did say he wanted to be present, but unfortunately something happened along the lines. Yeah, Harry, so it hadn't been this close, bro, in a long time. And one of the things that I'm very curious about here is why do you think that suddenly, just 2 weeks after you, well, let's put it bluntly, clapped Larry in the final of the TTL 4-0, suddenly we have a 5-4 final where you were actually losing. You were 2 down before the last 2 games. So, what do you make of it? What was different about this final?
So I think it comes down a lot to like how we're doing on the day of. Because I think like when it comes to like high level 8v2 right now, if you start getting some momentum, you can easily snowball and like win 4 in a row. But I think that I'm not like that much better than Leary that I can consistently do that. So I think 5-4 is closer to what we normally are, in my opinion. And I think the 4-0 was like I was just having a good day kind of thing.
So that was actually the outlier, you would say.
Yeah, most of our finals are really close, to be fair, right?
Mm-hmm. So if you had to put your finger on it, would you say like it was Leary sort of upping his game during the tournament, or was you not being at your very best? You were sick during the tournament as well. People can hear that you're sick right now too, and we really appreciate you taking the time to do this still. But what do you make of it?
It's probably like a combination of both. I don't think the sickness helped or like punished me that much. It was just like I didn't play any warm up the last 2 days because I was conserving my energy for the actual like playing. So I had less practice this tournament than I normally do. I had actually like very little practice, but at the end of the day, you have to play with the conditions you have to play. Like I wouldn't say it's an excuse, and I wouldn't, even if I lost, I wouldn't say it's because of this, and this reason. Like everyone has like reasons all the time. No one's ever 100%. So I think you just have to make do with what you're dealt.
Mm-hmm. Dad, did you have the chance to see the final, to watch the final live or afterwards?
Just have to agree with here what he's saying. Like we are all having some, and it's like when I now don't qualify, like why this happened out well. They ask you for excuses and then you start giving, but in the end, we all have something going on in the life. We are also getting older. Older you get, more stuff in the life, and that's normal. Still need to power through and give you 100%. And yeah, very good point by here. Watching the finals, on the other hand, it's best of 9. If it's best of 9, I skip first 5 games and then I start watching. Like there's no way I'm committing best of 9 to watch. Like I did watch first game, then it was Coast Mountain, right? Mogos against Gods, and
the Laming game, yeah.
After I saw like Hera with the clean game there, I was like, okay, we'll see if it's like 4-5-0 and come back later. And after I saw like Leary is actually leading, then I was glued to the chair. I watched the rest.
You watched the whole rest of the final.
Yeah,
okay,
like
so
last 5 games.
Mm-hmm. So what do you make of it, and what do you make of how Leary was playing? Were you surprised how close the final was on that particular day?
Honestly, Leary should have won. I believe the last game should have been his victory. Like Persians against humans. Maybe it's even mental. You would have to ask Leary about that because like he's always second. He was very close. Like first Steve Jobs, Persians for him. On the map where Persians dominate, Hera kinda left over with like 2 bad choices here, humans or Tatars.
Mm-hmm.
He took the risk with the humans, like at least he would have the economy boost and try to make out of it. Like because Hera had a weaker team, he had a clean plan and way to play the whole game. And I think that was the biggest issue. Like Leary, better team, but not a clean plan. He opened strong, but in Castle Age, he was just reacting with the camels. Like Persians faster, Zoc, like heavy demos, fast fires, Hanker Nears, all those tools, humans got nothing.
Orin, I think you were watching the final of All of Us, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you were. Most people are just sort of half watching because everybody was so tired. It was the last day of the tournament, best of 9 final that goes to the last game. And I think you were telling me as well, if I'm not mistaken, that you felt like Persians was the better civ there. So I think I think Harris talked about this as well. That he thought Larry's biggest mistake in that game was that one fight with the camels where he allows himself to get baited by like one light cav. And I think that's how you saw it too, if I'm not mistaken, right? That one fight he just threw the whole game over there.
I can't say that one fight made sure that Leary had no chance of winning, but at least that's what gave Hera the best chance of winning, right? Suddenly Hera has initiative, he has map control, and Leary with the faster Imperial Age don't have an army to support like taking map control. So it bought Hera so much time, and it was all due to one runner. Like one light cav pulling like 5 camels made Hera win that fight dominantly, and that's also the beauty of Age of Empires, right? That such a small detail can change the outcome of a game.
I remember, I don't know how serious you were about it, Orion, but I remember at some point you asking TaToH, do we need to nerf the Akumen 2 TC? Were you half serious or were you totally serious about it?
That was not about this game. That was just
in general.
I
understand. I realized, but I just remembered the question, so I wonder how serious were you about that?
It was half serious, but not based on that game itself. It was just in general. Like if you see Acumens played, what else do they do than 2TC? It's like 99%.
One thing to note, right, about that game is like that's like the best chance Persians have with the dock. He's like 4 fish up from the start, which I can't contest. Normally, civs don't have that. So like the Acumen 2TC is very strong. There was probably the weakest 2TC boom you can get out of all the maps, pretty much.
So do you agree, Doubt? From that moment on, when Leary suddenly loses that fight, he's going to be behind throughout the rest of the game, and it's very hard to catch up, especially against Hera.
I think he didn't prepare his game follow-up plan. Like he had actually bigger army, but not controlling the center. Like Hera made exact amount of units to secure the castle in the middle, and after that, he switched to the pikemen and so on. They were just reacting to camels. Then it was like, I got Imperial Age with 20 camels. Let's go have a camel as well. It's all investment that doesn't work against the transition that Hera already prepared. And also for the Cuman bomb, I don't think it's OP or anything. It's just boring. Like, humans, it will play like that. Like the game will be always play exactly the same. And I think it's 50-50. Sometimes human boom will pay off. Sometimes you die miserably. But in the end, the game is already seen, already played. It's not exciting and kind of doesn't belong to A2 in my opinion.
Just like if you're against Cumans, you have to do something essentially, right? Yeah. You cannot just let him do 2TC boom because his follow-up will kill you. So you have to make some sort of plan to counter it. And I mean, I guess that can be interesting, but I'm just so bored of the 2TC boom and whatever. Yeah, it's just
I vote to remove it as well. I ban it every tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, you want it bring you the win.
No, but I still don't like each other, I'm just
not even worse.
I saw some people pointing out that Larry maybe should have had for fast castle right away and just not lose too much time in feudal. What do you guys make of that?
I think he did the right opening. Like he gets the 4 fish, he secures it with the fast feudal age, and then he always has the scout alive, and he could have another scout to make sure Hera doesn't do any cheeky stuff, right? And Hera always has to okay, in case he's doing army, I have to wall up and invest a little bit there. And you still get a very fast castle age behind that as Persians. So I think the opening was right, but I agree with that. Like Leary didn't have the game plan in his head from what happens after mid castle age. That's where he struggled the most, I think.
The problem with Persian FC there is that he would give me full map control. He wouldn't get the fish, or if he does, I'd kill them with the scouts. And then I would for sure go for a forward castle, not just in the center. And then not only can he not get the center, he actually has to deal with the castle in his base, which is way harder. So he'd have like 20 villas extra, but I have middle and a castle on his face, which is really hard to play against. So I think he did the right choice.
Okay, so the games have been played, what is it by now? 4 days ago, 3 days ago. So I believe a lot of the folks are not really going to remember that anymore. And I really don't want to, torture you, Hera, by going through all the games. So one thing I'd be curious about, Orion, so you played against Leary, of course, as well. Do we know, or let's go with you, Hera, do we know if Leary has upped his training time now that he's joined on Amaro Esports? Do you feel like he's been playing more, practicing more, and that might be one of the reasons that he did so well in this tournament?
It's possible. I think that's, maybe he can give us more information there, but from what I saw, I don't think anything really changed in just first practice because Leary already takes tournaments very seriously. He practices a decent amount. He's not like the hardest grinder, but he's a very smart practicer. Like he plays what he needs. He shows up. He thinks about what he wants to go for, and I think he does like just enough every tournament. And I think he's on that track. So if anything, Onimaru will help him just continue that, and maybe a little bit extra motivation as well.
All right. So Viper, want to talk about your tournament run? You finished 4th. After losing to Leary in the what would you call it? Would we call it the semifinal? Was it a semifinal? Kind of a semifinal,
Losers
right?
bracket semifinal.
Loser bracket semifinal. So what do you make of the whole performance? You beat TaToH, of course. You had a very good start to the tournament as well. Looking at the whole thing.
I think I'm fairly happy with how I played against TaToH. All the other games, I had definitely some flaws in my gameplay. I think against Leary as well, my macro was fine, but my decision making and strategy was just tunnel vision, right? He outdrafted me, and I didn't know strategic adaptation to that. So yeah, overall, I mean, top 4 is not bad, but I feel like, for example, I feel like I should probably win more often than not. So obviously, those things are a little bit disappointing, but I mean, in the end, top 4 isn't a bad result.
Doubt, how did you see Viper's tournament run?
It's not disappointing like top 4. Like compared to the last tournament, right? TTL, he finished top 12, so it's an upgrade, right?
It's improving.
He's improving. Like it's good. It's good. Like it's falling good, but he's like, I know how it was. Like when the HD started, I was like always finishing second, Viper first, second, third, fourth, 12, second. Bye. So it's a struggle, but yeah, it's a good run. You get them, Tiger. Next time.
Thank you.
What about TaToH? TaToH's not here to defend himself, so it's going to fall on you, Doubts, to talk about his tournament run. He finishes 5th and 6th. He together with ACCM. He loses to Viper. TaToH was saying he would have wished he could have played Yo, but unfortunately Viper loses to Yo, so he had to play against Viper. What do you make of TaToH's run, Doubts?
That I was the first game TaToH against Kara. I think that's like the best game ever. Like that's, I don't know, like now I have to publicly say like how Kara, good job. Like I will probably go record game to that game because TaToH didn't play bad. Like first TaToH comeback there was insane with going full castle age. Late is obviously being a bit broken unit and helping, but still a very good call. And then like Hera, it was like, is Heron like ACCM? Is he Gundam there? Why don't he resign? He's like down to 90 villagers. He doesn't have 90 villagers, and it's like 5 on wood, 75 on like food, and few idols. That's his economy. He got few relics and he's buying wood, and he's still in the game. And I was like, come on, he'll resign. And then like 5 minutes later, he's in a better spot. Like I still don't understand. Like
yeah, that's an incredible game.
Lithuanians is a bad Imperial HC, right? It got almost full trash tag.
What was it? It was Coast to Mountain, right? Was it the very opening game of the tournament? It was definitely the first series. Was it the very first game of the tournament?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, no, but there was a set before us. So it was my first set of the tournament.
Okay, so it wasn't the very first set of the tournament. So that was Lithuanians, I guess. Was it Berbers? What was it again? Persians, was it? Okay, so yeah, talk about that game, Harry, if you don't mind. How did you see that game?
No, absolutely. I didn't think it was as like big of a comeback as it was. It was only after I finished that I was walking out and Nili was like, "Wow, dude, that was insane." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he was like, "No, it was like pop 120 against 200 pop. Like you shouldn't have won that ever." Dave was there, and then I went back to check, and yeah, it was a really like good comeback. I honestly don't know. It never felt that bad, to be fair. Like when I was playing it, obviously I knew I was losing, right? I was not
you were buying wood with the rally call. It was bad.
Like obviously it felt bad, but I think what did it for me is that I had a really good farming economy, very spread out. So, and also my raids were more effective than his. I had less raids, but more effective raids, which felt like I was doing more with less. But I don't know. I didn't realize how good of a game until afterwards, but I'm really happy to pull it off, of course.
Okay, but going back to TaToH's run, Doubt, apart from that first game, which was amazing, do you think he was disappointed? Do you think he will be disappointed about the way it finished for him?
Well, he lost to Viper and Hera, right? That's it. Like it's not a bad run.
Can't complain, yeah.
Like against Hera, he gave his heart out. Like the first game, if he would have won, maybe he could even like send Hera to loser bracket. It's always that first game is after you lose that there is no coming back. Like like if you cannot win from that spot, well, send me home. Like where is the airplane? Like that. That's it. So I think he is very happy with his run.
You're going to be mentally done. I understand it totally. Okay, so then was there anyone who really surprised you in this tournament in the way they played? Maybe from a negative side or from a positive side, Viper, was that someone you were surprised by how well or how badly they did in the tournament?
Honestly, probably ACCM against Yo was surprising, right? He got 3-0 by Yo. ACCM is so actively, so hardworking. I was expecting him to win, actually. But then again, ACCM went 2-3 against Leary, so it's like he had ups and downs, as everyone, I think. I'm not sure if you can say anyone's surprised. I'm sure Hart is very disappointed with his outcome in it, because Hart also has potential to reach like top 6, top 4. But he was also unfortunate he got sick pretty much upon arrival. So no, I don't think there's any like massive surprises.
I think this game has already been streamed, but unfortunately, Dad, we heard that ACCM, he came immediately to us and he told us that he beat you 3-0 in the Valhalla tournament. I think the game has been streamed already.
New
if I'm not
set.
mistaken.
He was like pushing me to play. I just got the new mouse, new keyboard. I miss clicking like a lot.
True.
Like a lot. I cannot even type anymore. And he was like, let's play. Like, okay, let's play. I guess he's
Best part
traveling
about
and
that
everything.
Best part about that set is ACCM is playing on the highest floor of the Media Mart. And after game 2, it's 2-0, he goes for a 15-minute smoke break.
That was actually like, I love ACCM, but I was so tilted. Like I was so close to just like, okay, I give you admin win. Every game, I know he's gone for 20 minutes because I realize he cannot smoke in the building and he's not home. So every game, it's like, you just lost. You're like mad at yourself. You want to start next game, and you know he's like smoking, and like it gets in your head.
One funny part of the whole thing. So he came to us and he was smiling. I clapped out. I clapped out. And then someone, I think it was Jordan, asking, was it easy? And then, his face turns really serious. No easy. So, and there was still a little bit, that was not a little bit, a lot of respect towards your dad. So despite beating you 3-0, it wasn't easy. But I loved it. Yeah, and I love how you turned serious. No easy. I love that. Okay, boys, looking from the outside, I thought the tournament was surprisingly good. A lot of incredible sets, a lot of incredible games, incredible moments. Of course, the Yo's and Hera's king. The way you reacted to that as well, Hera, was just so nice to see. I mean, you really could tell a heavy lift has been taken from you. What do you guys make of the tournament as a whole? As a player, obviously, is there anything that you have to say in terms of feedback, positive and negative, towards the tournament organizers? Something you think they did especially well, especially bad, Orion?
I think it's really cool to see how passionate those people are there that are working on it. I think this is probably the most esportsy event we have ever had, where it's like just like a nice tight. The stage is very close to the audience, and there are like multiple rows of seats. We obviously had things like Red Bull and such, which are amazing tournaments as well. But this was probably, again, the most esportsy feel that I've ever had. No, I think the whole location and setup and everything was great. And it's hard to see how they could improve much on this if they were to do it again. So just massive credit to them for how prepared they were and how much time and investment they were willing to put into it.
Hera?
Yeah, I think kind of the same. I think I was going in not really expecting much because, I've never heard of being esports, and just it was new, so I felt like, okay, let's see what they have prepared, and everything was fantastic. Like the room in the back for the players, the area as well. Like in the Media Mart, it was like so on theme. There was like the community section with 100 PCs in the back, so many like AoE2 fans playing. I was just going there and just chatting with some people, taking some pictures on my downtime, and it was just such a good vibe. Not just like the pro area, but like Viper said, such a good esports vibe to it. The crowd is so lively as well. So the event was honestly like 10 out of 10. The only feedback is actually not about the event. It's just like I didn't like the food. I didn't eat once. And they ran out of still water. That was like the two things that bothered me. But it had nothing to do with the actual event. So that's the only feedback I have for them.
Doubt?
Yeah, it was amazing being there.
Yeah, as a viewer, obviously.
As a viewer, felt very good. Kind of wish I was there. Like the live audience, like think Age of Emperors audience deserves a lot of credit. Every time the audience is live there, you can hear the reaction. Not sure how it is for the players, but it's I would get hit by adrenaline even if I get out micron, right? So it's a very, very good part of the tournament. I wish more tournaments were like that. I think we only had Red Bull, but even that is only later stages. I never get there. Here, if I qualified, I would have audience first time ever. Yeah, that part felt amazing. And as a viewer, I think only thing I would change is the maps. I think they were not most exciting.
Ooh, okay.
Red
Talk
State
about
Fortress.
that.
Oof.
Migration, Registry Fortress, like a lot of slow maps that are well done so many times, and it's like humans boom. You know what's happening. Let's just play it off and see who clicks better.
There's actually one thing I would criticize. It's how easy it was to hear commentators kind of from the
Well,
stage.
Mamp.
No, but still, like I have white noise in my in-ears already, and they gave me another noise canceling headphones over it. And if I'm not playing with a loud volume, and the game is not playing, I could hear the casters. And that's
How much does it bother you? Actually, I mean,
you have a constant blah, 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 blah in the background, right? As people are talking. And sometimes, I mean, Kingston said at one point he even heard, he was like thinking, oh, I wonder if Leary is adding fish. And then he heard the casters, oh, Leary is fish booming.
Ooh, that's
Check
bad.
And
That's
like,
bad. Yeah.
you cannot have that happen in a competitive tournament, right? So
I think the setup they had for me after day one was better because I told them I didn't like their headset. They didn't play white noise on their headsets. It was just like a very like hard headset that just clamps your ears. And I have like pretty big ears, so I was like, no, that doesn't do it for me. So I used my headset, but they put white noise in the headset, and that was way better. Like I heard nothing. Like I didn't even hear a single word. All I hear was just the mumbo jumbo, and then the crowd getting loud, but nothing else. I think if that's a good point of feedback. They should just do white noise.
I should do like you. I didn't complain about it until after like the third or middle of the third set, and then they gave me new headphones that were way more comfortable for my glasses and white noise on it, and it was so much better.
Yes.
So yeah, that's something we probably need to be more vocal about as players.
Well, yeah, that thing is bad. I hadn't heard it before. That I mean, if you're actually getting information from the game, that a game that it's ongoing, that's actually potentially incredibly bad. So yeah, I hope that's something that they take seriously. And
the only incident I heard about was the Kingston one. I think everyone else just pretty much have high volume and such. So again, it shouldn't take away from the tournament. It was still an amazing tournament.
No, true. Yeah, I understand what you say. Yeah, I'm not trying to say the whole tournament has been tainted, never again or anything like that, for sure. Okay, so one point of contention that I've heard, of course, is that the losers bracket winner had to play 2 games on the same day. Of course, a lot of people have talked about this. In this case, it was Leary. And I wonder what you guys feel is better, because we had recently the Red Bull tournament where we also only had 4 days, but they organized it differently so that we had, like, I think it was a Swiss stage, 2 days Swiss stage, and then we have 1 day for the semifinals and 1 day for the final. As a player, what do you guys reckon is better for you guys? Try to take both points of view into consideration, of course, for the tournament and for the players. Hera.
Okay, I would say that I love the double elimination because one thing I don't like about the group stage is that you have a second life early. Then you get to the semifinals, you didn't lose early, and now suddenly your second life is gone. So you can lose one time in the semis, and other people can lose earlier, and they get a free pass. So I like that you keep your life into the grand finals. I would say that if they don't make it, that loser has to play on the final day. They should make it that loser has to beat the winner in 2 series because the winner still keeps his second life. The winner always has to have a significant advantage. So my advantage this time was I didn't play 2 series. It could be a big advantage in the draft, like I get 2 extra bands, 3 extra bands, or they have to beat me twice, or they have to beat the winner bracket runner twice. In that case, you don't need the loser bracket final in the same day.
Yeah, so one of the things, of course, there are several different things you can do there. You can start the series winning 1-0, which I guess I don't think anybody likes
I don't
that.
like that one.
Yeah, nobody likes that. Yeah, that's very true. But if you had to pick, do you feel like this one is better with a double elimination and you're still having the advantage? And also, do you feel like that's enough of an advantage that you actually only play once on the day?
No, I don't think it's enough. I think you should get more, to be honest, because it's very subjective. Like playing more games can be a good thing. Like you get to have more experience. He had like 2 hours rest. That's more than enough. So I think like I should get even different advantage, to be honest. But I think like this is better. I don't like the group stage. And then if you don't use your second life, you get no advantage going into semis. So I like double elimination more.
I agree with Hera. Like double elimination feels way more fair because even if you have bad brackets, you then switch the side, you get an extra life. I think it's better than the Swiss. I mean, there is an argument for both. Like having one tournament like this, another one like that, that's absolutely fine. But the thing I really don't like is changing the format during the tournament. Like for example, you lost your extra life from best of 5. Next round is best of 7, then it's best of 9. If it's best of 5, keep the whole tournament best of 5, and then grand final, you have one best of 5 won already because you never lost. You need to beat me twice in best of 5, and then it's fair. Like you beat Leary once in best of 5, now it counts for nothing. And if it's best of 9, you cannot just give like 1 win, 2 wins, or I don't know. Nothing is fair. Basically, nothing is fair. The only fair system is you won your best of 5. He needs to beat you twice best of 5 to win the tournament. Simple.
Viper, both points. So first, whether you prefer the the double elimination or the Swiss stage, and this point that Doubt has just now made about everything being best of 5.
I prefer variations, so like one tournament this, one other tournament that. I just don't want the same format every time, right? And I think that's the same as with settings, right? I don't want the same settings every time. I just want things to be different, so it feels fresh and feels different. What Doubt pointed out is like, yeah, from a competitor perspective, that's fair, that's nice, but like we have to compromise. There's viewership, there's organizers that want their sponsors to be seen. There has to be, like in this case, this is a perfect example of where the best of 9 worked perfectly, right? We got all 9 games in the grand final. You couldn't ask for more.
Did it?
But it's also
he already won his winner brackets and got nothing out of that.
Yeah, I'm saying that's all the organizer can ask for an organizer. You get as the best out of the final you can ask for. But I was in Hera's shoes. If he were to lose 5-4, he didn't get that extra chance. So there is no fairness in that. The system Hera proposed earlier was what StarCraft used in their early days, right? I used to watch StarCraft tournaments like 12 years ago, and there was like best of 7 or best of 5 final, and the winners bracket guy lost, and they had to play another full set. So it's like, it's something that can be done, but also it's like if you do it as a best of 5, and then it's a 3-0 in the final for the winners bracket guy, suddenly you had a 3-game grand final. No one wants to see that either, because that's just very anticlimactic. You wouldn't be there.
I think it's climatic. I think it is quite good. Like if it's 2-0, I'm watching to see if it's over or not. Like I'm there for the start to finish. Best of 9, nobody's there. Like at were you watching the first 3 games of the finals?
I think he was asking you.
It was on the side, because we were in the VIP lounge and such, that we had to spend time with.
Did you watch the last few games?
Yes.
Well, there you go. As the importance grows, you're there. You wanted to see.
But that's
first,
not the
you
point.
will leave your Twitch on the TVC, but you will not. You will just check the score. Okay, here is
out. You're
no need to watch anymore.
You're talking purely from the POV of like the. Like you have to think about this from the sponsors as well. There needs to be compromise. Yes, ideally there are like 5 super exciting games and that's it. But that's not how the world works, right?
To be fair, a lot of the fans watch all 9 as well.
Yeah,
even in the venue. So you might be unique there, Doubt. Like I see what you're saying, and I agree to some extent. But I think a lot of people would disagree, and they want to have more games. And Viper puts a good point for the sponsor and like the runtime. Like 3-0 grand finals would be a disaster.
Yeah. Like I said, there has to be a compromise where there is competitive integrity. And there's also the value for viewers, for sponsors, for tournament organizers. They need to get something out of it as well. But otherwise, we cannot have these tournaments.
Viewers are leaving and coming back during the set because it's so long. If it was best of 5, they would stay through the whole set.
Yes, but I think they more often leave and go between games. I think they still catch majority of the games. The people that are like, there will be people that don't have the same interest as others, right? Where they don't watch necessarily the first games, or just come and go over a couple of hours. But
do we know the time? How long did the finals last?
4.5 hours, I want to say, yeah. 4.5.
Is there any other 1v1 sport where you play for 5 hours?
Tennis, maybe?
Even that is now best of 3.
Chess? Well, I guess chess. I don't know. This cycling, true.
You will find sports where they last a similar time, right? And there will be people watching those sports as well for the whole duration.
That's a lot.
People are different. Yeah, of course.
5 hours is a lot.
Yeah, but
there's some League of Legends finals that it's best of 5, but with the draft and like long games, and it's 5 games, it goes to like 4 or 5 hours. And it's actually usually considered epic because it's like a huge like, back and forth.
But it's 10 people. It's not all on one person to handle the whole 5 hours.
But the longer the set is as well, the more chance you have to have new and different people also check it out. Like it's
viewership goes up for sure.
It goes up.
It's spread around. But if it was like compact, the viewer peak would be higher for the shorter period. Like
maybe.
I don't necessarily agree with that. There's also the chance there's a time window is smaller, so there's less people that even get the attention of the tournament, right?
But everybody wants to be there.
No, but with how international it is, I don't think like people would be able to make it sometimes. We have like people from India, Australia, Europe, America, South America, etc.
If the whole world was aware and knew that this tournament is taking place from then to then, and it's the best of 5, and everyone was aware, yes, it would be perfect. But that's not how the world works.
So you need to make best of 21, so everybody's there. Like play for 24 hours. So every time zone is there. If guy from the India wants to see, we have covered that zone. Australia, we are there. We cover everybody whole day. Play whole day.
It's hard to discuss.
Good
when
for the business.
You just
good
use
for
extremes.
marketing. Well, it's good for marketing. Like imagine 24-hour stream with the best players.
Yeah, it would be, but
It
it's
will
not
be very good.
reasonable for the players or for the audience. That's why you need to find compromises where it works for all
It's
parties.
best of 9 the compromise.
Yes,
Okay.
clearly.
I disagree.
You're so
think
funny, Dad.
There are a couple of things. I think the problem with Age of Empires 2 compared with something like CSGO, for example, is that we don't know how long a game is going to be. So it's very, very hard to predict how long a final is going to be, right? For CSGO, we have roughly an idea because the rounds are timed. And for Age of Empires 2, it isn't. You know, some games could be like, what was that game, Jordan and Andy on Black Forest? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
was
I know.
long.
It's, yeah,
Right,
2 hours
you
and
could-
some, I think.
Yeah, you can have those games, and then you can have a game where you lose a king in the first minute, which happened to Mr. Yo.
And you can have ACCM in the game, and then
There you go. There
back
you
to
go.
24-hour stream.
Or you can have Hera. What was it? Was it the second game of the final? What was that game you were griefing, Hera? I'm joking, of course. You were
I was
griefing on the
griefing.
final.
It was the Mayans game. The
Well, were
Mayans. I think
you
it came
just
yeah.
trying to tire him, or what happened there? No,
No, I'm just trying to play have like Expos. Yes, night.
It's
a fun
fun.
situation. Yes.
You
Trying
can
to play
counter
some-
unit.
Play some AoE too. So.
I just want to play some AoE too. Oh, fair enough. But going back, and I think, Dowd, I kind of agree with you. I think the only reason we accept best of nines these days is because it's tradition in Age of Empires 2. You remember back in the days, the maps are awful, not balanced, none of that. And so the only way of trying to avoid series being unfair was making them long, so that enough is played, so that nobody has a huge advantage or something like that. I kind of feel like best of 9, even if it goes the distance, is a little bit too
We
long.
had more. We had best of 11. I think even best of 13. It's nearly
Nearly,
Yeah,
nearly
nearly
best of
nearly
13,
best.
yeah.
Then we bet back. Now I think best of 7 is like most of the finals, and that's a good round.
I agree. Best of 7 is probably the best. I mean, Hera, I did hear and see a lot of people. It's obviously not true, but I'll just let you know. I did hear a couple of people say that if it was a best of 7, you would have lost because
That's
the
so
action
funny.
was
If it was
4-3.
best of one, I would have won.
Yeah,
If it was
well,
best of
that's
one, I would have won.
There you go. There you go. Now, obviously, the draft is different. The sims you pick are different. The maps are different, and all that.
The map order is different as well.
Map order is
It's
different.
so funny.
Maybe a compromise for double elimination is that the final is a best of 7, but then if the losers bracket guy wins, then it's a best of 5 replay, for example. So it's not 2 best of 7s in a row, and it's just a bit shorter, but he has
I
to
think
win
we
twice.
had that at some point too. Yeah, I think we had that at some point. How do folks feel about that?
That's cool. Yeah, whatever.
Complicated.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. Like, I don't think it really matters. Like, everyone can pick whatever they feel like they want for their event, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, because
Cool,
no
I
one
like
will
that.
ever agree 100%. So whatever.
Yeah.
As long as it's
that's
not
gonna be-
extreme, like don't put Daft in charge. This guy's it's either moderate or extreme on either
Best of
side.
1. Hey, in my time, we played like biggest tournaments best of 1, and that's fun.
What was it? The Microsoft tournaments?
Yeah,
Down
World
wasn't it
Cyber
best
Games,
of 1? World
best
Cyber
of
Games.
1. Let's
But
go.
not the final. Was the
Finals
final
best of 3. Like finals
Is-
3.
Oh.
Spread it a bit longer, but only finals.
They went to the extreme of the best of 3 for the
Now
final.
imagine
Yeah, that's crazy.
TaToH against Hera, best of 1 the first game. Like that's
True. Imagine
hype
what
is
an epic
unreal.
final. Yeah, what an epic final. Okay, folks. One thing I'd be curious about. So, if I'm reading this correctly, TTL is pretty much the only S tier tournament left with a 3 villager start, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Hidden Cup used to have it too, but we didn't have a Hidden Cup this year, so it's pretty much everything. It's now 9 villager start, and there's a little change. It hasn't been talked about all that much, but devs for the new patch have actually added the possibility to play a 9 villager start to quick match. So it's not to the ranked ladder, but to the quick match. What do you guys feel about that? Well, first of all, about having 9 villagers just be in every single tournament, and of the fact that devs are slowly but surely, maybe, that's how I read this at least, trying to incorporate it into the ranked ladder. Hera.
Okay, I'll just be upfront. I much prefer 9 start, easier to practice. Games start way quicker. You cut out some downtime every game. Helps a lot when trying out strategies that are like 50-50. You don't waste as much time just running through like the Dark Age. But on the other side, for specifically T90's tournament, TTL, I think 3 start is actually correct there because number one, T90 is our biggest content creator and he reaches the most, the audience that is the least invested in AV2. Statistically, I think most people would agree. And so I think you want to present to them something that's recognizable and not something that's weird. The timings are all different. They're like struggling to understand what's going on. So I think in specifically that case, it makes sense. Also, another point in favor of 3-wheel starts. TTL is supposed to be not for like the top guys, but for everyone. And for everyone, it's easier to like make a break in if you're playing 3-wheel start, which is what you practiced on the ladder. In a world where they bring 9-wheel start to ladder, then maybe that starts to change. But I think until then, I definitely agree with T90's decision there for 3-wheel starts. That being said, I like the other tournaments are 9-wheel start. I much prefer that myself.
So you would be in favor of devs slowly but surely trying to incorporate it into the rank ladder?
No, I'm not sure if I'm in favor of that.
You're not sure.
I'm saying if they do that, then T90 can adjust. But I'm actually not in favor of that. I think they should keep it 3-wheel start for ladder.
Okay, doubt.
It should be one villager start so we get more content out of the games, right? You get more airtime. You start without villager, without TC, land nomad, build a lumber camp, then TC, best of 20. Then you're set. That's the content, right?
Hey, Doubt, I'm old enough to remember Land Nomad without you being able to make a TC right away. You had to make a lumber camp first. Yeah, there you go. If you're Huns, you're dead, basically. But if you're Chinese, you win.
Like Viper said, I also enjoyed the different tournament hosts, different settings, like T90, Hidden Cup, TTL, 3-villager start. Very cool. I like it. MEMP, different version of 9 villagers, I believe. You start with kind of standard resources, so it's kind of turbo 9 villagers. I love it. I love Warlords. It's healthy mix.
Does MEMP know about that, by the way? Does MEMP know that his?
No, of course he does. He does.
No, I like it.
I'm actually not sure he knows. Mem's gonna kill me now if he does know that.
I'm almost sure he does, because Mem's 9 Villagers start, if I'm not mistaken, was inspired. What was the league, Viper? Was it Deep Waters League? Right? And I think the other 9 Villager starts are all inspired by Nilly's 9 Villager start, which is like really trying to just mimic the situation of a game at 9 Villager time.
Like Sheep was like with 55 food, like Sheep at that point got 55.5 food. Let's put it like that. Come on, Nilly. Let me have the Sheep. Like I can push the board, do whatever I want. Like let me have an option.
Okay, Doubt, it's usually hard to read through your sarcasm, but if I'm understanding you correctly, you want to keep to the 3 villager start.
I will want the mix. And yes, 3 villager start for the rank. That's the core of the game. Been there for 25 years. Let's not make it too crazy. Some tournaments being even Empire Wars is fine, right? But that's for the pro players that are invested, that have time to adapt. For new players, keep it simple. It's enough that we have like 100 civs soon.
True. In a world where they bring 9 villagers start to the ladder, would you be in favor of that?
I would, but it would be bad for the casual player. For me personally, like saving time, you get to the action faster. It's easier to play. But against that, keep it classic. The game survived like this for 25 years. Let's not go crazy.
At the end of the day, that's the most strong argument for me. The game has survived like this. People love the game this way. But Orion, let me hear from you.
It survived this long, but we still need innovation to keep it growing. I think 9 Village Start is way more fun to play, as Hera said as well. It brought a lot of good points. The training is so much easier. You can explore more options with that. I would be down for it being on ladder, but only like as a toggle option. I think the basis should still be 3 villager start, but the way you can toggle random save or not, just add like a 9 villager toggle there as well. And then if both players agree to play 9 villagers starts, there you go, 9 villager start.
How about that?
It's a bit more confusing maybe for newer players that aren't aware of the interface and whatnot, but most people that care about 9 villager start would know it's there. So I think I wouldn't put it as like the core game experience. I would also still prefer 9 villager start in TTL. But because it also is a tournament that lasts quite a long time.
Content.
But I think there are probably some changes coming as well to TTL, if I understand correctly. Maybe it'll be a little bit shorter next time. No, 9 villager start, in my opinion, is what competitive Age of Empires should be and what we should chase. And I would personally think that T90 Titans League should follow that. Because it's so honestly, it's partly demotivating actually to like play 9 villager start, and then back to 3 villager start. It's so slow. Even when you start training it, it's just so slow. So yeah, but again, I mean, 3 villager start is the classic, and I also understand why T90 wants to keep it that way. Like Hera brought up a lot of good points as well as to why to keep it that way. So in the end, let each tournament host do what they want, and it's up to us if we want to play or not.
Variety is king. Okay, I like it. Last point, my friends, and I thank you so very much for sticking for so long. The viewership for this tournament was very high, unexpectedly high, and I think the biggest reason for that is that they really didn't care. Well, it looked like they didn't care about their main channel. I mean, I just saw a screenshot a couple of hours ago where you have like the top 6 channels, and in that top 6, there's not even Mem and there's not even Dave, for example. And so being in sports was probably like not even the top 10. So it feels to me like this is something where they really focused on the experience at the event, and they're trying to make money that way by selling tickets and all of that. And they didn't care that much how much viewership their own channel has. What do you make of that? You guys as tournament organizer. Well, you guys are not really tournament organizers, but Viper has had their cartographers. Hera has been trying to organize a tournament in Argentina for the longest time. So let's start with you, Hera. What do you make of that decision to just let's just go for maximum viewership and we don't care about our own channel?
I think it was a good decision, but I think they should have done more for themselves. This is like I see this trend a lot where it's like you have to really, as an organizer, you have to balance what you get versus what others get. If you try to take too much, then it leaves a sour taste in the mouth of others. But if you take too little, it hurts your ability to do more. So you need that sweet spot to where everyone's happy and you can also do another one. If you hit on either end, it's probably bad. So for them, I think they hit on the end that everyone is really happy, but they got a lot less out of it than they probably deserved. So I would say that they should have done the same format where they let everyone stream it, but they should tell the channels that do stream it to actively try to funnel people into the main broadcast at some point, like during intermissions. They'll be able to come check out the main broadcast, stuff like that, so that they can get a little bit more out of it. That's my take.
Doubt.
I don't give opinion on that.
Okay.
There's something I don't give opinion.
Yep, you don't have to
their-
have an opinion about
well,
everything.
they
yeah.
did their calculation, right? It's good to have, like, for example, when you start the stream, do you want to have 0 ads or 10 minutes ads? If it's 0 ads, you will get more viewers, more exposure, and then you get ads. So it's the business plan they choose. They got exposure, the viewer number, they're happy. Next time, maybe they will put more attention to them. I'm not in that business. I'm not sure how it works. I'm not
Yep.
sure how anybody makes money out of the tournaments, to be honest.
Well,
so I guess they know something.
Yeah, the truth is not a whole lot of people do. Orion.
It's whatever the organizers, what's their goals, right? I don't think they were upfront with any of their goals. Like, do they want to grow their own channel? I don't think that was like on their top of their list, right? It was quite low. So they just wanted to get as many viewers and as many eyes as possible on their sponsors and their tournament. And I think that was a great success. So if that's what they were aiming for, then absolutely. And I mean, we also don't know, is their long-term plan to host tournaments mainly on their own channel? I would guess not. So if they just continue with this, what they're doing right now, I think their approach was absolutely correct. And I mean, the more viewers, the more happy Microsoft is as well, the more happy their sponsors are, and the more likely those guys will come back, right? So I think they did absolutely correct.
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, over 50,000 people watched the final, which is crazy for someone who was just started now streaming Age of Empires 2, right? And I think I love it that it feels like every single tournament organizer's got their own niche. In this case from the Garrison, they just have a LAN tournament for players, for folks at the same time, which I think is just great. Community is there, and at the same time, there's a pro event. Awesome that we can have it this way. I love it.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you so very much for the time. Hera, get better soon, bro. And we're all looking forward to see you back to the full content mode as everyone else. Orion, Doubt, awesome to hear your insights as always. And to you boys at home, if you enjoyed, and girls, of course, if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And we'll be back very soon. See everybody.